Denver 7's Sally Mamdouh is joining us tonight from the ICE detention facility in Aurora. Sally, this federal order calls for all families to be reunited within a month. So from what you're hearing, does that even seem realistic?
And immigration experts tell me the process typically takes about 40 days. So they're hopeful that this order will sort of speed things up, but they're not sure if that's really going to happen because they think ICE doesn't really know where a lot of these kids are. But ICE told us today that they do, but still haven't given us any updates on how many kids they've reunified today. So the process is still very fluid for ICE, as according to them. But today we spent most of the day talking to lawmakers who were out at these detention centers and talking to 80 officials to try and give us some answers as to how soon these kids will be reunited with their families.
It's been a little over a month since Brenda was separated from her 7-year-old son in Arizona after they crossed the border illegally. When they told me that, I started to cry, and my son started to cry, and he said, "Mom, I want to come with you." Brenda has yet to reunite with him. They didn't tell me where they took him. 20 days into her separation, she finally found out her son is at a detention center in Florida. She still can't see him, but was able to talk to him over the phone. Brenda isn't alone in her desperate search for her child. Here at the ICE Aurora Detention Center, while a few of the 50 families separated from their children have just been released, they've yet to reunite with their kids.
At this point, some still don't know where their children are. Some still haven't had even phone contact with their children.
Ashley Harrington, a lawyer for the Rocky Mountain Immigrant Advocacy Network, who's been working with the families detained in Aurora, says she's hopeful a federal judge's order of the reunification of kids within a month will take families out of limbo.
And we're also hearing some reports from the parents detained inside the Aurora facility that they have begun receiving paperwork from the Office of Refugee Resettlement to give their consent for their children to be released to other family members in the United States.
But she's doubtful the Department of Homeland Security is going to reunite kids as fast as the orders want them to be.
It's clear that these children are not being tracked in nearly as careful a way as property is tracked.
We've reached out to local lawmakers who've traveled to detention centers and took a stance against the zero-tolerance policy. The governor's office released to us this statement saying, quote, "They are working to track down families impacted. U.S. Representative Diana DeGette is sponsoring this bill that would help keep families together." And despite not receiving enough votes in the House to pass an immigration reform bill today, Congressman Mike Kaufman plans to do a standalone vote on a new bill that prohibits families from being separated.
Now you're looking at a group of protesters that just gathered in the last few minutes here outside the Aurora Detention Center, and only time will tell on whether this order will be this push that the administration needs to speed up the process of reunification. So many like Brenda aren't in limbo for months and will help other families here find their children. For now, we're live in Aurora. Sally Mamdouh, Denver 7.